Well, hello everyone and welcome to Yorkshire Gamer and another figure review. And I know lots of people have looked at this already, but Yorkshire Gamer, we work at our own pace and we've got around to it eventually. Victrix Medieval Knights, and these are a pack of 18 28mm hard plastic miniatures, and they cover late 12th to mid 13th century according to this. And if you remember, Victrix won the World Cup of Historical War Games Miniature Manufacturers, which was lovely. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do an unboxing because it's not in a box. I'm going to do a debagging. So those of you who were at school in the 1980s will remember that was that really hilarious gag that you played on your mates when you ran up behind them and pulled the trousers down in the middle of the playground. Things have changed, obviously, and those people are now in prison. So let's have a look. We'll open the bag and see what we get. So first of all, we'll have a look at the information that's received. So on the back of that lovely cardboard topper to the bag, we've got a list here that tells you all the different parts of the body, and heads, arms, and then the body is split into different left and rights and what have you. So body B2 parts, and then it tells you which one fits that, B3 parts, etc. Most arms will work on all bodies, as it says. And then over there it talks about the horses, and any rider can ride on any horse. And some lovely pictures there of some painted miniatures. Then also contained within the box is this sheet here, and this is basically a top-down view of the sprues themselves with the different horse parts with the codes on if you need them. And then again we're looking at the different body parts for the various torsos, etc., and their recommendations for what fits what the best. So I think the best thing to do is get the sprues out and have a look at them. So first up is the horse sprue, and all of the horses supplied have caparisons, or horse curtains, as I believe they are known in true medieval circles. And you can see here that they are in two pieces with saddle fronts and backs by the look of it. And if we turn on the other side, you can see there that they've all got little lugs there that mean that they should fit into place quite nicely. So I don't think there's going to be much problem building those. They look fairly straightforward. And you get 3 sprues of that with 6 horses per sprue to make 18. And then exactly the same with the figure sprues. There are 3 identical sprues, so we'll just look at one of those in detail. So we've got different arms there in male, and then we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 different head options in different styles of hat or helmet. We've got some lance stroke spear, a shield, different weapon arms there with axe and sword, more lance there, and then we've got the bodies, and these have got chainmail on the legs with an overcoat or surtout or whatever they want to call it this week. Different weapons. I think you're going to get some really nice dynamic poses from these. Looking at these figures, you've got leaning to one side, leaning back in the saddle. Lots of different weapon options here. Lots of different swords, axes. Did I see a mace? Oh yeah, there's a mace. Spears, lances, however you want to describe those. And yeah, I think that's going to produce some really nice figures. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put them all together, and as if by magic we'll be back very shortly. So here we have the finished box set, and all 18 figures. Makes a nice regiment, I think, that looking at that. And I've added a couple of spare parts in from other kits that I'll mention in a minute, but very impressive, I have to say. and we'll have a look now at some of the figures individually. So this is probably what I'd call a basic knight, and the horse, as we saw on the sprues, comes together in two parts with the saddle in two parts as well. Joins together relatively well, as you can see there. Some minor gaps between the sprue, but all that's going to get cleared up during the painting process, so not too worried about that at all. And the figure itself is kind of the basic pose with lance upright, and its head, body, legs, body, sword and arms. So relatively easy to put together, good crisp detail, and looks like it will come together quite easily with the way that I paint. So that's one of the upright lance guys, and then I've done this one here in a little bit more of a dynamic pose with sword out to the side. And there's lots of different ways you can pose these figures. One of the benefits with plastics is that you're not stuck to the poses that are produced, and you can get some really, really great looking units that have that feel of momentum and movement, which is how I hope this one's going to look like when it's finished. I have done a couple of mini conversions just to get a look on a couple of the figures that wasn't available from the sprues. And on this one here, as you can see, everyone knows that every single commander of every, and his sword's just fallen off, every single commander of every single unit in a Hollywood film needs to be bareheaded. So this is one I just bought randomly off the internet. I've got a selection of bare heads, and I've just put some green stuff under the neck to add that in to make that as the overall unit commander. I'll glue his sword back on in a minute. And then finally, on this figure here, I have used a trumpet from, I believe it's from the Gripping Beast Arab cavalry range, just to get a musician within the in the unit. In addition to the figures, which I've not mentioned so far, is that Victrix, or in conjunction with Little Big Men Studios, do a selection of decals for troops, and these are quite handy with medieval stuff. Obviously, some of us can do these livery looks quite comfortably. Others, including myself, mine look a little bit messy when I do them. So a decal can save you a lot of time and lift a figure if that's not your normal painting standard. And it also, even if it is your painting standard, can save you an absolute shitload of time. So this one here is one of the standard sets, and as you can see, you get Bardin decals for 6 different looks for 6 different horses, and then a selection of shields with a couple of extras in there as well. So I'm going to be using these to build up my unit, and I'm going to make these into probably 2 9s, which will be sort of non-hospitaller, non-crusading military order. These will represent knights that have come to the Holy Land from France or Europe or the UK, and yeah, I'm just apologies for shaky cam, but we're just going down the line looking at this as a unit, and I think when this comes together, I'm going to be really, really happy with it. So there we go. That's our little review of Victrix Medieval Knights, and I think they're an absolutely cracking set. And get along to your model shop or your wargame supplier, or direct from Victrix themselves, and get a copy for your medieval armies. Just those of you who do listen to the podcast, by the way, Victrix did win the best manufacturer on the War Games World Cup. I have asked them a couple of times to come on the podcast, but they've not got back to me. Not a problem, can't force anyone to come on, but I know a few of you have asked, can we have Victrix on the podcast? But unfortunately, they've not got back to me. So I have moved on to other guests. The Christmas Brews in the Bin Yard will be out very soon if you've missed the podcast. Until next time, see you.